Did you know that the very vitamins you take each morning, the ones you've trusted for years to protect your health, might now be doing the opposite? That's right. After age 60, your body doesn't process supplements the same way it used to. In fact, certain common vitamins taken daily and in good faith can cause tingling hands, weak legs, brain fog, dizziness, even permanent nerve damage. And the scariest part? Most seniors don't even realize what's happening until they fall, forget, or feel their bodies slipping in ways they can't explain. I'm Dr. Thomas, and over the past 40 years treating older adults, I've seen how these so-called health boosters quietly turn into health hazards. Patients come in confused, scared, even ashamed, when all they were trying to do was stay healthy. This isn't fear-mongering, it's about truth. Because your independence, your clarity, your strength, they matter too much to be put at risk by outdated advice or one-size-fits-all supplements. In this video, I'm revealing 7 of the most harmful vitamins seniors should stop taking immediately, backed by real science and real patient stories. And I promise, by the end, you'll look at your pill box with brand new eyes. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Vitamin B6. When too much of a good thing turns dangerous. Did you ever believe that a simple vitamin, something you've trusted for decades, could slowly rob you of your sense of balance, steal the strength from your legs, and numb the very hands you use to hold your grandchildren? I'm Dr. Thomas, and I've seen it happen more than once. One of my patients, Margaret, 74 years old, sharp as a tack, independent and living alone in Colorado, came into my clinic complaining of strange sensations in her feet. "Doctor," she said, "my toes feel like cotton, and I've been tripping on flat ground." At first, she assumed it was just aging, but I saw the fear behind her eyes. She was afraid of losing control. We ran a full panel. What we found surprised her: toxic levels of vitamin B6 quietly building up in her system from years of harmless, over-the-counter B-complex vitamins. She wasn't doing anything wrong, just following advice she thought was helping her. Here's the truth. Vitamin B6 is essential in small amounts, but too much damages the very nerves it's supposed to protect. After age 60, the body processes vitamins differently. The kidneys filter more slowly, the liver is more sensitive, and prolonged intake of high-dose B6, sometimes just 2 to 3 times the recommended daily amount, is enough to cause peripheral neuropathy, tingling, numbness, burning feet, weakness in the legs, even difficulty with fine motor skills. Seniors often take B6 for energy or nerve support, not realizing that most don't even need extra unless medically deficient. Worse, this damage can mimic conditions like Parkinson's or diabetic neuropathy, leading to unnecessary worry, or worse, misdiagnosis. When Margaret stopped the supplement and we adjusted her nutrition, her symptoms slowly improved, but she told me later, "I wish someone had warned me sooner." So now I'm warning you. Check your labels. Stay within safe limits. No more than 100 millivitamins daily. Often much less is needed. And always talk to a doctor who understands the aging body. Because the small decisions you make today, like what's in your daily pill box, can shape your independence tomorrow. And speaking of independence, wait until you hear the truth about vitamin E, the so-called anti-aging vitamin that may be silently weakening your muscles. Don't skip this. It might just explain why standing up feels harder than it used to. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. 2. Vitamin E. the anti-aging trap that can disrupt your muscles. As a physician who's worked with seniors for over 4 decades, I've learned that sometimes what we think is helping us age gracefully may actually be quietly working against us. That's especially true with vitamin E. Once glorified as the ultimate anti-aging supplement, now increasingly seen as a silent contributor to muscle weakness and fatigue in older adults. I remember a patient of mine, Frank, a 78-year-old retired Marine from Oregon. Frank was the kind of man who still mowed his lawn, shoveled snow off the porch, and fixed things around the house. But he came to see me one spring, frustrated and frightened. "Doc," he said, "my legs feel like jelly. I can't even get up from the couch without pushing with both arms." We checked for everything: cardiac function, thyroid, even a scan for spinal issues. But what finally stood out was this. Frank had been taking 800 IU of vitamin E daily for almost a decade, convinced it would keep his body young. Here's what most people don't know. While vitamin E is important in small doses, especially as an antioxidant, large doses, above 400 IU, can interfere with muscle metabolism and even increase the risk of hemorrhagic stroke. And unlike water-soluble vitamins that flush out, vitamin E is fat-soluble, meaning it stays stored in the body, often building up in tissue and compounding its effects over time. For seniors, this becomes dangerous. As we age, our muscles naturally lose mass and strength. Add in excess vitamin E, and the decline can speed up, leading to not only muscle fatigue, but instability, increased risk of falls, and prolonged recovery after minor injuries. Frank didn't know. He thought he was doing the right thing, and that's what scared him the most. We gradually tapered him off the supplement, focused on balanced nutrition, and within months, his energy and strength slowly returned. But like many older Americans, he said something that stuck with me. "I trusted the label more than I trusted my own body." So I'll ask you, are you feeling weaker than you used to? For no clear reason? It might not be age, it might be what's in your supplement drawer. And if you think that's surprising, wait until you hear about calcium. Yes, the very mineral you were told would protect your bones, potentially harming your nerves. The truth may shock you. 3. Calcium, the silent saboteur of nerve signals. As a doctor who has spent decades working with older adults, I've seen how good intentions, especially around health, can sometimes backfire. Calcium is perhaps the clearest example. It's promoted everywhere. Strong bones, strong life. But very few people are told that too much calcium, particularly in supplement form, can quietly disrupt the body's nerve function, especially in seniors over 60. I'll never forget Mary, a 72-year-old widow from Indiana who had always been diligent about her health. She came to my clinic complaining of persistent muscle cramps, tingling in her fingers, and a strange heaviness in her legs. She was afraid. "I feel like my limbs aren't listening to my brain anymore," she whispered. "I'm scared I'll fall and no one will find me." Her lab work showed something telling: elevated calcium levels in her blood, far above normal. Mary had been taking calcium supplements, in 200 milligrams daily, for over a decade, on top of her regular dairy intake and fortified cereal. She'd been told it was the right thing to do. She was never warned it could go too far. Here's what many don't realize. Calcium doesn't just go to your bones. In excess, it can deposit in soft tissues, including blood vessels and nerves. This condition, called hypercalcemia, affects the ability of nerve cells to send and receive messages properly. The result? Muscle weakness, numbness, fatigue, confusion, and even irregular heart rhythms. And for seniors whose kidney function naturally declines with age, the body struggles more to flush out excess minerals. Mary's symptoms weren't due to aging, they were due to years of silent overload. Once we stopped the supplements, moderated her diet, and rebalanced her intake with magnesium and vitamin K2, her symptoms slowly eased. But the damage, the fear, that lingered. She told me later, I thought I was protecting myself. No one ever told me too much calcium could be dangerous. This isn't uncommon. In fact, it's one of the most overlooked risks in senior nutrition today. So if you've been told to load up on calcium without knowing your actual needs, it's time to pause and ask the right questions. Sometimes less really is more, especially when your nerves and mobility are at stake. And speaking of hidden dangers, let me share the truth about iron, a mineral once essential in youth, now quietly harming many older adults. The next part may surprise you. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4. 4. Iron, a heavy burden on your nerves after 60. If you're over 60 and still taking iron daily, I urge you to stop and ask, do I really need it? Because while iron is absolutely vital in earlier stages of life, after 60, too much iron can quietly poison your nerves, overwhelm your organs, and create a dangerous imbalance you may never see coming until it's too late. I remember a patient named George, a 76-year-old retired electrician from Wisconsin, a proud, active man who rarely missed a day fishing on the lake. He came to me complaining of deep fatigue, burning sensations in his feet, and aching joints. He chalked it up to arthritis and old age. But I knew something didn't add up. He'd always been in good shape, no signs of diabetes or neuropathy. We ran blood tests and discovered something that would change everything. Excessive iron storage in his blood and liver, a condition called iron overload, or medically hemochromatosis. George had been taking a standard multivitamin with iron for over 15 years, thinking he was protecting his energy and strength. Instead, that iron had built up slowly, quietly, and dangerously. You see, after menopause for women, and by the mid-60s for men, the body no longer loses iron through menstruation or regular metabolic turnover. And unlike other nutrients, iron has no natural exit unless you donate blood. Over time, too much iron settles into organs like the liver, heart, and brain, creating inflammation, tissue damage, and in many seniors, nerve pain, numbness, and extreme fatigue. George was heartbroken. I just wanted to stay strong for my grandkids, he told me. That's what stuck with me. He wasn't careless. He was doing what he thought was right. But no one told him that iron can turn from friend to foe once we age. With treatment and diet changes, George began to feel better. But the lesson was clear. Iron should only be taken under medical supervision after 60. Never assume more is better. And now, let me ask you this. Have you ever taken vitamin A to protect your vision and skin? You might be shocked to discover that in excess, it can do the opposite and even make you dizzy or damage your nerves. What you're about to learn next could change how you look at your daily supplement forever. 5. Vitamin A. Helpful for vision, harmful in high doses. If you're like many older Americans, you probably believe that taking vitamin A daily will help keep your vision sharp, your skin healthy, and your immune system strong. That belief isn't wrong, but it can be dangerously incomplete. Because what most people don't realize is that vitamin A, in high doses, can become toxic, especially in older adults. And the damage it causes can affect much more than just your eyes. I'll never forget Helen, a warm-spirited 81-year-old who came to my office in Kansas with symptoms she described as feeling woozy and off balance. She was afraid to walk without holding onto furniture. She'd also been getting headaches and trouble focusing her eyes, even though her ophthalmologist said her vision hadn't changed much. When we reviewed her supplement routine, I discovered she'd been taking cod liver oil every morning, something she had started in the 1980s and never stopped. She was also taking a multivitamin and eating fortified cereal daily. Her total vitamin A intake, once we calculated it, was nearly twice the recommended limit. Here's the part no one tells you. Vitamin A is fat soluble, meaning your body stores it in the liver and releases it slowly. Over time, especially in seniors whose liver function may be diminished, this storage can become toxic. And it doesn't always scream its presence. It creeps in subtly, causing dizziness, bone pain, blurred vision, dry skin, and even nerve dysfunction that mimics balance disorders or cognitive decline. Helen was stunned. I thought I was doing everything right, she said through tears. She wasn't trying to overdose. She was trying to age well, like many of us. We stopped the supplements immediately and worked on a balanced food-based nutrition plan. Within months, her symptoms improved and she felt steadier, both in her body and her confidence. The lesson is clear. More is not always better, especially with fat-soluble vitamins like A. After 60, your body needs precision, not excess. And if you think that's eye-opening, just wait until you learn the hidden risks behind magnesium, a mineral many seniors turn to for sleep or muscle cramps, but which can silently build up and affect your heart and nerves. What I discovered with one of my patients might surprise you. 6. Magnesium, surprisingly harmful in certain forms. Most seniors I meet have heard that magnesium is good for sleep, for cramps, or to keep things moving in the digestive system. And yes, magnesium is an essential mineral. But what many don't know is that not all magnesium is created equal, and taking the wrong kind, especially as you age, can be far more dangerous than most people realize. One of my patients, Joe, a 79-year-old retired mechanic from Michigan, came into my office with a strange list of symptoms: heavy legs, irregular heartbeat, muscle twitches, and periods of confusion. His wife said he'd even had trouble staying awake during conversations. Joe didn't drink, didn't smoke, and was always active. So this decline deeply frightened both of them. It didn't take long to uncover the root. Joe had been taking magnesium oxide daily for nearly 5 years, 600 milligrams every night, to help with constipation. He picked it up at the pharmacy, no questions asked. It seemed harmless. But what Joe didn't realize was that magnesium oxide is poorly absorbed, and in seniors, particularly those with mild kidney impairment, which often goes undetected, this form of magnesium can build up in the bloodstream, slowly poisoning the system. In medical terms, we call this hypermagnesemia, too much magnesium in the blood, and its symptoms are deceptively quiet at first: fatigue, weakness, slowed reflexes. But they can quickly progress to low heart rate, confusion, muscle paralysis, and even cardiac arrest if not caught early. Joe's kidneys just couldn't keep up anymore, and no one had warned him. We immediately stopped the supplement, monitored his levels, and transitioned him to a safer food-based magnesium plan. Thankfully, we caught it in time, but his story isn't rare. In fact, I see variations of this same scenario every year. The bottom line is this: if you're over 60, you must choose the right form of magnesium, like magnesium citrate or glycinate, and only under medical guidance. Never assume a mineral is safe just because it's sold without a prescription. And speaking of assumptions, have you ever thought folic acid was just another harmless part of your daily multivitamin? The truth is, for many seniors, it may be the single most misleading ingredient on the label. What I discovered with one patient will change how you view your entire supplement routine. 7. Folic acid, the unseen problem in fortified foods and supplements. Most people over 60 wouldn't think twice about folic acid. It's in your cereal, your bread, your multivitamin. It's just always been there. But as a physician, I can tell you, for older adults, this quiet vitamin may be silently interfering with your brain, your nerves, and even masking dangerous deficiencies that you don't see coming until it's too late. I remember Patricia, a 68-year-old retired school teacher from Arizona. She was sharp, independent, and prided herself on keeping her mind active. But over the past year, she told me she'd been feeling foggy. She was forgetting names, missing appointments, and her feet had started to burn at night. "I'm afraid I'm slipping," she admitted in tears. Is this what the beginning of Alzheimer's feels like? We ran a series of neurological tests, and her blood work showed something unusual. Low B12 levels, but very high folic acid. She'd been taking a senior multivitamin every day, plus eating fortified breakfast cereal and whole grain bread, not knowing that she was getting far more folic acid than her body could process. Here's what made her case dangerous. Excess folic acid can mask a vitamin B12 deficiency. This means that even though Patricia's B12 was low enough to cause nerve damage, her folate levels were telling her doctors, falsely, that everything was fine. And that's not just a number on a chart. B12 deficiency can lead to irreversible nerve damage, cognitive decline, and even paralysis if left untreated. The problem is made worse by a common genetic mutation, MTHFR, which affects how your body uses folic acid. Seniors with this mutation, and many have it unknowingly, can't convert synthetic folic acid into usable folate efficiently, causing it to build up in the bloodstream and confuse lab results. Once we stopped the folic acid and introduced methylated B12 and folate, Patricia's clarity slowly returned. "I feel like myself again," she told me. So if you're taking a supplement with folic acid or eating fortified foods daily, it's time to talk to your doctor about checking both folate and B12 levels, not just one or the other. Your brain and nerves depend on it. And now, as we close this critical conversation, let me share the most important truth I've learned in over 40 years as a doctor. Sometimes it's not what you're missing, but what you're unknowingly adding that causes harm. The final message may be the one that protects your independence the most. The pill box you trust could be hurting you, but it's not too late to take control. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you, not just for listening, but for caring enough about your health to question what you've always been told. As a doctor who has walked alongside thousands of seniors, I can tell you this: there is no shame in doing the wrong thing when you were never given the right information. You took those supplements because someone told you they'd help. You believed you were protecting your body. But now you know, after 60, your body changes. And what once helped you may now quietly be hurting you. Of the 7 vitamins we discussed, 3 stand out as the most dangerous for seniors, not because they're evil, but because they're commonly overused, misunderstood, and most likely to cause silent damage. First, vitamin B6. So many seniors take it daily for energy, nerve pain, or mood support, but few are told that too much, especially over long periods, can actually destroy nerve tissue. I've seen patients lose their ability to walk confidently, suffer from burning feet, or develop hand tremors they can't explain. And all because a harmless B-complex pill was slowly poisoning their nerves. Second, iron. It's absolutely essential during younger years, but after age 60, most people don't need extra iron, especially men and postmenopausal women. Yet it's still found in many multivitamins. The risk? Iron builds up over time, damaging the liver, brain, joints, and yes, even your nervous system. I've seen strong, proud seniors reduced to fatigue, confusion, and chronic pain, all because no one thought to check their iron levels before recommending a pill. And third, folic acid. This one is perhaps the most deceptive. Found in most fortified foods and daily supplements, folic acid can quietly mask a serious B12 deficiency, common in older adults. The result? Irreversible nerve damage, memory loss, and symptoms that mimic dementia. It's a vitamin that was supposed to help, but in the wrong body, at the wrong time, it hides what could be a life-altering deficiency. These aren't just nutrients, they're chemicals that interact with your aging body in very specific ways. And as your metabolism slows, your kidney function changes, and your nerve tissue becomes more delicate, precision becomes everything. So, what should you do? Start asking questions. Read labels. Talk to your doctor, not just about what to add, but what to stop. Ask for blood tests. Check your B12 iron and folate levels. Most importantly, trust your instincts. If something feels off in your body, don't chalk it up to just getting older. Because you deserve to age with strength, with clarity, and with control, not confusion, not fear. You trusted your pill box for years. Now, it's time to trust yourself. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.